Yeah, good morning. We were discussing antennas and propagation in the previous class. So we have started with antenna basics. As you have studied in the previous class, we will be discussing on a lot many parameters of antennas. That is like pattern, beam area, beam width. Then we will be going with respect to we will be understanding how to calculate the radiation resistance. We'll be finding out the all those things with which are the parameters, efficiency, bandwidth, all those things parameters which is relevant to antennas we'll be going ahead with. This is what we are trying to understand here. Here we'll be discussing a few things, and first of all, we have already discussed about the antenna radiation, how to calculate. So when time charging or length of the current charging time, change velocity or acceleration, all these things terms we have defined, and we got it as I dot L is equal to Q V dot, and all these equations we have defined further. So till where you have completed in the previous class, till this equation, all of you have completed till the equation.
Yes.
Okay. So we will continue further. So here we can see that the antenna, we will be defining further that the antenna appears to be a two-terminal circuit element having an impedance of Z with the resistive component called as the radiation resistance RR. So some radiation resistance will get established there, that is called as RR, and because of this radiation resistance you will be having some heat getting generated, and as impact which will lead to some losses in the further. So these are the things which you can see here. The radiation resistance is not an actual resistance which is to be available there. You may not think that a real resistance is available. It's an artificial, or you can say that it is having an impact of a resistance. Really there is no radiation resistance available, but there will be some impact of the resistance which is available close to the antenna, and which we call it as radiation resistance, due to which leads to some losses of the signal, or finally you can say that you can also have some antenna temperature getting generated. That's the reason when you use the mobile phone for a longer duration, you know that there is the antenna present in it which can transmit and receive the signal. So when you use it for a long time, which it you can feel that there is some heat getting generated, and this is all because of the radiation resistance as well as the radiation which is in contact with the uh, antenna and the electronic components, which leads to that temperature. So that is defined as antenna temperature, and it is called as TA. And this is what you can see here. This is the transmitter section, and this is the transmission line. So the signal will flow through this. Some of the radiation resistance will be generated, that is called as RR. So it is the region of space within the antenna which will respond to that, and you have you, as I have told you, you have some virtual resistance. Actually there is no physical presence of resistance, and this is the antenna what you are going to see, which takes care of the signal being transmitted and received. So this is a small diagram where you can see that the virtual transmission line uh, linking antenna with space. So this is what you will get the entire thing. So here the main focus what you have to understand here is the generation of radiation resistance, which will be in the form of virtual resistance, and which in turn leads to the antenna temperature. And we, in the previous class, we have also studied a few things like I dot L is equal to Q V dot, where we have seen all this time changing current, length of current element, and all those Q charge and all. So those equations are just to find out the radiation resistance and whatever radiation it's taking place in an antenna. So you can just draw this figure. This is all introduction to go with respect to antenna. We will specifically move on to the each parameter, and we will discuss those things in detail. So you can just note down these things. See, once you complete it, just let us go on further. So note down this few points. I think all of you might have completed this equation and its relevant parameters, I dot L, Q, V and all. So continuation of that. You can note down these things. So have you all completed it?
No, sir.
Okay, complete that figure. Then we will proceed further. So the radiation resistance is basically required, means it gets generated because of the radiations, whatever takes place in and around the antenna, and it leads to lot many heat getting generated. So that is called as antenna temperature, TA. Shall we proceed further?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. So few more points to add with this, that is the antenna is characterized by its radiation pattern. So this radiation pattern we will be studying in detail, where you will be seeing that main lobe, side lobes, back lobe, and all those things. It will be easy for you to understand those things. So the radiation, the antenna is characterized by the radiation pattern, and the radiation pattern is a graphical representation. So you can see that how the beam is going to get formed, and how the maximum signals are going to be there in the main lobe, and you will be having subsequent side lobes, and the space between the lobes you call it as null and all. So those things we'll be studying in detail further. We'll be understanding how the pattern gets generated, and how these terms are going to be defined. So the radiation pattern of an antenna is a graphical representation of the radiation of an antenna as a function of direction. So this as a function of direction, but the radiation patterns are specifically as a function of two spherical coordinates, that is theta and phi. So we'll be having the two components, that is two spherical coordinates theta and phi, where we'll be explaining the radiation pattern. So we'll be studying these things in much detail. So this is just an introduction. We'll be studying in patterns. I'll be showing you the figure, and I'll be explaining you the radiation pattern and its how it is formed. All those things we'll be seeing there. So these points also you can note down, and then we will move on to patterns. So we will discuss on patterns. So patterns we'll be understanding in detail, where I'll be showing you some figures also, where you can see that how the representation of pattern will be done. And in lab also, when you have two experiments, that is on directional on two antennas, Yagi antenna and dipole antenna. So we'll be doing some uh, analysis of those things, to and also we'll be drawing the radiation pattern for that, and we'll be studying the directivity gain, and all those calculations has to be done. So once we physically conduct those experiments in the lab, then we can see that how these patterns get generated, and actually you have to graphically draw that by understanding the values whatever you obtain. So those things, when you are in the lab, we'll see those things. So shall we start with pattern?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So patterns, we'll see the interface of an antenna with space is characterized as pattern. So this is the definition for pattern, that is the interface of the antenna with the space is characterized by pattern. The radiation pattern is a field strength pattern, or simply you can say that you can call it as a field strength pattern, or simply we can say that field pattern. So we have actually two types of these things we are going to study. One is called as a field pattern, another is called as power pattern. So we'll be having two types, one is field pattern and another is power pattern. So if the radiation pattern is a field strength pattern, then it is called as a field pattern. and if the radiation is specified in terms of power per unit solid angle, then it is called as the power pattern. So these things you have to understand. We will be studying two different types of patterns, that is field pattern and power pattern. If it is with respect to field strength, we call it as a field pattern, and if it is with respect to power per unit solid angle, you call it as a power pattern. Then power pattern is proportional to the square of the field strength pattern. So this is very important line for you to understand. That is the power pattern is proportional to the square of the field strength pattern. So when you go with the comparison of the power pattern and field pattern, so you need to understand that the power pattern is proportional to square of the field strength pattern. So the field pattern has the spherical coordinates, that is r, theta and phi. So we will be having the spherical coordinates for the field pattern. We call it as r, theta and phi. So when you see the diagram, you can see that the field pattern will be drawn with the help of the coordinates r, theta and phi. When we go to the figure, it will be clear for you, where R is proportional to the field intensity, and so you can say that R is the pattern radius R that is proportional to the field intensity at a certain distance from the antenna and in the direction of theta and phi. So we'll see that the antenna field pattern, how it is represented. I will show you in the next slide, where you can see that the pattern can be represented in this form. We'll get back to that again. So this is how the pattern will look like. So you can see that the entire this is the main lobe where the signal is getting the signal is being transmitted. So the entire signal will be in this main lobe, and you will be having some subsequent side lobes and all these things. So these are called as the side lobes, and these are the side lobes. So these things we'll be studying further. So the entire this thing is called as the main lobe. So this we'll be studying. I'll come back to this again. First you can complete that basic definition and its explanation. After that we'll come back to that. So you write down pattern and write down the interface of an antenna with space is characterized by pattern. So that is the definition for that. You have two types of pattern. One is called as field pattern, another is called as power pattern. So we have both field pattern and power pattern. So these things you can just write down. If you are going with respect to field strength, you call it as a field pattern, and if you are going with respect to power per unit solid angle, then you call it as a power pattern. And the relationship of field pattern and power pattern is proportional to square of the field pattern. This is very important. We will be using it in numericals also. Power pattern is proportional to square of the field strength pattern. You need to underline that thing. And field pattern basically depends on r, theta and phi, and so these are some of the things you have to understand here. So complete it, then we will move on with the uh, diagram and its explanation. So how the pattern looks like, what are the main things with respect to pattern to for you to understand, all those things we will be discussing further. So all of you have completed?
Wait, sir.
Okay. So here we'll be using this two things, that is field pattern and power pattern, and you need to understand. I'll be explaining those things also in much detail.
Finish, sir.
Okay. So here you can see that the antenna is being having this components theta and phi. So we'll see that with respect to, you can just imagine that you have taken any football or anything. So that is a spherical part of it. So this is few things you can just follow to me here. You can see that this is the theta. Theta is taken to be 0 here, and this is phi is taken to be 0 here. So these are few things you need to note down, and you will, I'll give you time to draw this. First you can see that the phi component, so this is the phi component where you can see it is going on like this, and this is the theta component. So theta component is coming from this, so you can just imagine that this is theta, and theta starts at 0 and it moves on in this direction. So you have the two field components. Then we have discussed about r also. So you can see that from the center we have taken this dotted lines like this, and this is the radius. Okay, there are two components, one is called as e phi, another is called as e theta. So this is the point. From this point you are defining e theta and e phi. So apart from this, you can just how to explain this is, you just take a football or which is in the spherical shape. So consider a spherical thing, and you can see that if you are moving from in one direction, that is towards this side, from one end to another, you can call it as uh, phi component. And the other one, if you take like north to south, you are moving from north towards the south, then you can say that it is the theta component. So you have this phi component and theta component. Apart from that, you can see here, I will just say you few things here. You can see that this is the main lobe where the entire this entire signal is getting concentrated. So this is the main lobe. So I will show you one by one. So listen here carefully. So here you can see that this portion where I am marking it, this lobe, this is called as a main lobe. So this is the main lobe, and you can see that this is the side lobe. This small things are called as the side lobes. So you can see many side lobes here, and finally you can see one which is exactly 180-degree opposite to the main lobe. You can see this now, which I am drawing it. This one, this is called as the back lobe. So exactly 180-degree out of phase with the main lobe. So that is called as the back lobe. So you have these are the some of the things you have here in the pattern. So we have we can see that you can see that this is the figure where you have main lobe, and you have this is the main lobe. Again I am repeating it. So this is the main lobe, and then you have side lobes. These small things are side lobes, and you have a back lobe. And you can see that I'm going to just color it out. You can see that there is a space between this main lobe and the side lobe. So this space, which I am giving a color for that. Similarly, this side also you have some space. So the space which is there between the main lobe and the side lobe, that is called as null. NULL, nulls. Okay, so here also you can see space, here also you can see space, here also you can see space. Space between the lobes, space between the lobes is called as nulls. So that is called as null. So this is the entire thing is called as a field pattern, and this one is called as the main lobe. Which one I am saying, the bigger lobe is called as the main lobe. And then you have theta is equal to 0 at this point, phi is equal to 0 at this point, and you can see that phi component varies in this direction and theta component varies in this direction. So this is what you can see the fields in theta and phi direction. So you can just draw this figure, and then we will proceed further. So all of you complete this figure. So all of you draw this figure. So draw it in a 3-dimension. So the main thing what you have to understand here is the main lobe, side lobe, nulls, the direction phi, direction theta, and E component E theta, E phi, and the component R, that is the radius of the pattern. All those things is what you have to understand, and you can see that the phi component varies in this direction, and theta component varies in this direction. So once you complete drawing this figure, you just let me know that. We'll proceed further. Have you completed? So have you all completed this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this few theory, whatever I had explained, you can note down that as well. So the pattern has its main lobe maximum in the z direction. So that is what you can see here. The maximum of the pattern is available in the z direction. This is the z direction, this is y, and this is x direction. So the maximum, the pattern has the main lobe maximum in the z direction, and where theta is equal to 0, I have already told you the minor lobes. I have told you the minor lobes inside and back lie in other directions. So you can see that small lobes which is there, that is called as a minor lobes, or you can call it as side lobes, and the last back one is called as the back lobe, which is exactly opposite to that. The space between the lobes is called as nulls. So this also we have discussed. So all of you have completed the figure now. We will just look into these things. So to specify the radiation pattern with respect to the field intensity and polarization requires three things, that is three components we are going to see. The theta component, the first one, theta component of the electric field as a function of angle theta and phi. So we write it as E theta theta phi. Its unit will be volts per meter. And then the phi component, that is the next component of the electric field as a function of angle theta and phi, which is called as E theta phi. It is also volts per, so it is E phi theta phi, it is in volts per meter. And the next component, that is the phase of this field pattern fields as a function of angle theta and phi, or delta theta theta phi. So the phase is represented as delta theta theta phi or delta phi theta phi. So you can just note down these things. It's all theory what you're going to see here. So you can just note down these things which we have already discussed all these things with the help of figure. You know that the main lobe lies in the z direction, the minor lobes are also present, and back lobe is also available, which is exactly opposite to the main lobe. The space between the lobes is called as nulls, and to be specific, you have three patterns, that is theta component of the electric field as a function of angle theta and phi, that is E theta theta phi. Phi component of the electric field as a function of theta and phi, which is called as E phi theta phi, and phase is denoted as delta, delta theta theta phi and delta phi theta phi. So note down these things. See, have you completed?
No, sir.
Okay, completed. So then we will proceed further. So all these things are theory which you have to write when they ask you to define pattern, explain pattern. They may ask you for 3 marks and all. So you need to write, or sometimes for 5 marks. So in this module, in this portion of this, actually they ask 2 to 3 things for 10 marks, like pattern. Then they may ask efficiency, then field zones. So like that, 2 to 3. So all put together, they will give explain the parameters of an antenna. These 3 4 things they will give and give 10 marks for that. So that is the usual question coming from this. Only thing is that which there are almost 8 to 10 parameters. They may ask 3 to 4 in the question paper. So we don't know which 4 they are. It is going to come for the exam, but that is the usual practice from this part of this module. So have you completed that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, few more points to add with that. The important pattern parameters are two are there. So these are called as the pattern parameters, and we'll be asked in the problems to find out the half power beam width and the beam width between first null. Its abbreviation is sometimes they use in the question paper HPBW, and they use FNBW. So don't get confused with that. It is half power beam width, and the next one is beam width between first null. So these are the two things what you have to find out. The important pattern parameters are half power beam width and first null beam width. The normalized or relative field pattern is obtained by deriving a field component, and its maximum value has the maximum of unity. So this also you need to understand. So the maximum value at this point is 1. At this point, the maximum value is 1. So it is unity, and so that is what it is also to be understood. So we have one more one equation for this that is called as a normalized field pattern. The normalized field pattern is given as E theta phi normalized is equal to E theta phi divided by E theta phi maximum. So what we are going to do here is we are dividing its value E theta phi to its maximum value. When you divide the value of E theta phi to the maximum value, you get the normalized value. So this is important for you to understand. In lab also we will be doing the experiment. No, we need to find out the normalized value. So what we are going to see is we are going to divide the E theta phi value to its maximum value. So if you are getting the maximum value as 1 or 2 or 5 something, so you are going to divide with its maximum value to get the normalized value, and you can see that the normalized value will be less than between 0 and 1. So you will be getting always the normalized value between 0 and 1. Why? Because you are dividing with its maximum value. So here denominator will be always more than the numerator or equal to the numerator. So maximum value what you can get is 1. You cannot get beyond that. So it will be between 0 and 1. The normalized value E theta phi normalized will be E theta phi divided by E theta phi maximum. So you can just note down that. And the shape of the field pattern is independent of the distance for distance that is large compared to the size of the antenna, and large compared to the wavelength. So this is one more thing. The shape of the field pattern is independent, so it is not going to depend on independent of the distance of for the large distance for distance that are large compared to the size of the antenna. So uh, the field pattern is independent of all these things, size of the antenna, and also the wavelength. So these are some more points you can add on to that pattern. Note down these things. So all of you have completed. We will stop it here for today. Pattern is not completed yet. Another few continuation is there. For that, we'll be studying few more. We'll be studying field pattern and power pattern in detail as well. So this is all we have to complete it in the next class. So we'll be doing it in the next class where we'll be writing the few more equations, and we'll be drawing the field and power pattern. So I'll get back to that in the next class. First, you can complete these things. So all of you can complete it, and we will wind up for today, and we'll continue this pattern in the next class as well. Is that clear for all of you? Till here, we have studied most of the things as theory. Is that clear for you?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that clear for all of you? Okay. Okay, then we'll stop it for today. Thanks to everyone. Thank you. You can complete that and you can leave. Thank you. Okay.